Hello and welcome back everyone, this is Mystic Games. Today we're going to be doing a tier list on the Daedric Prince's quests. This is not a tier list on the power of these items, but on the quests themselves. I wanted to do a Skyrim video. I've been playing this again. I played this for many years when I was much younger, and I've been just picking it up on PC. It's fantastic. So we're going to start with Azora. Azora, you you visit her shrine, you pick up this quest, the priestess will send you to talk to a mage, the mage then sends you to more or less gather this item, and then you get sucked into said item, and that's the quest, in a nutshell. I actually really like Azora's Star quest. I'm going to put this in A tier. The Black Star is generally considered better than the regular star by item power. I'm putting it in front, but it's the same quest essentially. It's not much different. The ending of this is really cool when you get sucked into it. Spoilers. 15-year-old game, so sorry if you're watching this and I just spoiled that for you. But super cool. I thought that part was very unique and interesting. Overall, just a little bit of tidbits and how it was set up was very nice. The Ebony Mail quest I'm going to put in C tier. This is the Boethia quest. The intro to the Boethia quest is very... You know what? We're actually going to put this in B tier. The intro of this is above average, but then you kind of just go and you fetch the armor from the champion, and that's about it. So, beginning is really cool. Unfortunately, you do have to sacrifice a follower, generally, to do this quest, and that is a negative, but overall, the quest is super cool. So next we're talking Clavicus File here, and we're talking Daedric's best friend. You meet Barbas, which is a dog, a talking dog, super good follower, and you go to a cave, you clear the cave, he sends you to another cave, and then you come back. I'm going to put this in upper B tier. I think the ending of this is really solid, and pretty much the ending is just really good. Like, when you actually meet Clavicus File at his shrine and you speak to him, just the way he handles himself is very Clavicus File. That being said, I think it was a good way of them handling the Daedric Prince and the whole Rueful Axe, and you kind of get the story from Barbas, and then you get to make a choice via the Rueful Axe. I think that's really cool. Next, we're going to be talking the Ognum Infinium. As an item, this is probably like a C or D tier item. Some people might disagree, but there's so many ways to enhance skills that this just isn't as good as it should be. That being said, is it a bad item? No. I think the quest line for this item is not that interesting. There's different ways to get to where you need to even get to do the quest for this. And then it has a follow-up quest where you need to gather blood. And I will say, getting to the Ognum Infinium, like going through and seeing what happened to all the other adventurers, if you go that path, the path that it wants you to go, that's super cool. But it doesn't really have to do with the Ognum Infinium. That's not why they were there. They were just there to get treasure. So it's more of a side thing that you get to see because you're going there, but there are other reasons to go there other than the Ognum Infinium. So you might run into that even without going for this quest item. So I can't put that as the story, unfortunately, because if it was that, I would probably give it like a B or maybe even an A tier. I'm going to put it in C. I think it was an average. I think it was actually because of the dungeon you have to go through to even get to. And then like the secondary part, I feel like was really unnecessary to actually unlock everything. It's just a really long quest for an okay item. Next, we're going to talk about Hircine, which is pretty much the Daedric Prince of Hunting. You will interact a lot with Hircine via the companion thing as well, which is additional lore. Which I think, if I add that to the Daedric quest, I would rate it higher than just the Daedric quest alone, because that adds a lot of background to Hircine even more so. And I think it's really cool that it goes kind of hand in hand with the companions, but it is not part of the quest. So the quest is Ill Met by Moonlight. You meet a guy, you can either offer to essentially assist him or not assist him, and then you do your choice, you get a certain item. I prefer the ring generally, but you can get both items, so there's really no choice here if you want to essentially use a bug or an exploit that's in the game that's very easy to do, and get both items. That being said, the quest itself is cool, but it's not, I don't think it's as good as Clavicus Vile's quest. I kind of wish Hircine talked to you more in the quest, and there was a little bit more to it. I almost feel like them going the way they went with it made it less fun. I think you could actually make a really fun like hunting quest out of Hircine that would have been very interesting. That you could even had a werewolf as one of the targets or something. But I think it would have been really cool to put you in like a hunting situation where she kind of sends you to hunt beasts or something. And then you take out the beast, you get another beast, and kind of you build yourself up, and then she gives you a reward based on that. Anyways, good quest, just I don't think it's above, I think it's just slightly above average. Malakat's quest, I'm going to put in C tier. This is the orc quest, the Cursed Tribe. You pretty much help Lar Gashper, who is the war chief, and he's just a horrible orc, and he doesn't do his job, and he's C tier. And that's pretty much the whole story there. There's not much going on, there's not a lot of talking in the background, explaining why things are the way they are, which is always good for lore building, and gives more points, in my opinion, to the Daedric quest, because it immerses you more. There's just not much of that going on here. Mehrunes' Dagger, I'm going to put this in A tier. I do think the quest for this is fun. I think there's a lot of fetching to it that's unnecessary. And I think that they could have added more in the sense of having the fetch quests make more sense via the dagger. Only one person in the part of the fetch quest that you go to had anything to do with like Oblivion and Mehrunes' Dagon. It was like one of the families that was anti Mehrunes' Dagon, essentially against the cult there. And then you have the main guy who gives you the quest, who is essentially his ancestry was part of the cult. So that part would have been more interesting if there was more conflict there. I kind of wish they did that with like one of the other pieces, like they literally made a special unit that was like an anti-Mehrunes' Dagon, like active person that guarded like one of the pieces or something. It was dressed in like, like it would be cool if they had like some sort of unique armor. Anyways, going on a tangent on this one, but I'm gonna put this in A tier. I think it could have been an S tier if they did a little bit more with it. Mehrunes' Dagon's a pretty cool Daedric prince as well, in my opinion. Next, we're going to talk about Methala. I'm putting this in C tier. This whole concept of getting to the blade is that the blade is whispering words into one of the one of the kids of a Jarl's ears, and that you need to go to the closet essentially, and then it talks to you. It's like, yes, you're worthy. It's like, why would you hide this dark, destructive blade in a place that's even near accessible to anybody? Like, this should be put in like a tomb that has like secret doors and stuff, if that's what you're going for. And then putting a book in there, that was cool, but it's like, this is a really bad thing, don't take it. Just not that interesting. I feel like they could have did more with that quest. Like, really, like, I mean, for gameplay, I get it. They didn't probably want to hide the blade. It would make it too hard for people, but yeah, you gotta give gamers some credit. Sometimes we can be pretty smart. Anywho, Myrida, the Break of Dawn quest. This is the one where you get lights, and you kind of go through a tomb, and I believe Myrida does kind of talk to you a couple times in it. And the end quest is pretty interesting. I'm gonna put this in A tier. I actually think this is better than Azora. I actually really like the whole hitting the lights and then going through the tomb. I thought that was really cool. The only thing I dislike about this quest is that it's a random drop quest item that gets stuck in your inventory and it weighs weight. They need to take that away. In the next Elder Scrolls 6, when we finally do get it, please don't make non-droppable quest items have weight. Just make them 0 pounds so that we don't have to carry them. Or if we're going to be stuck carrying them, that they don't weigh anything. If you want to give them weight, let us drop them in a chest or something. Essentially, you should make it so you have to drop it in essential chest only or something like that, where you would have access to it. Next, we're going to talk about the Mace of Molag Balg. This one starts off really good, and then it kind of dies down towards the end. Or it dies down in the middle, and then it picks up at the end. I'm going to put this one in B tier, behind Clavicus File, because it kind of has the same feel. Just how it moves throughout. I really like the beginning of the Mace of Molag Balg and his quest. Like, the whole initial part of this quest is really, really fun, where you go into like this haunted house kind of thing and you don't know what's going on. You're with the Vigilant of Sandar, which I kind of wish they used Vigilance of Sandar better in Skyrim, but that was something that was just, it was a cool quest in the beginning, and then it kind of felt like it kind of falls off. Namera's Ring is a C tier quest. I'm just thinking about it in my mind. It's a C tier. I don't even have anything to say about it. Like, there's really nothing unique. You meet an NPC, the NPC's like, hey, we got to do this because we're cannibals, and this is going to make us fix that problem where we're not noticeable. And then you go do that for him, and then you go collect somebody to eat, and that's the end of it. So, not much going on there. Now, the only issue I have with Perioites, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this one right. I didn't even know this Daedric Prince's name until I did this quest. It's called The Only Cure, and you get Spellbreaker. This is cool. It's like, this is very Nurgle-ish. If anyone plays Warhammer, this is what it reminded me of. I do like the quest. Simply, I'm going to put it in lowest of A tier that I can, but you can walk around and actually listen to the Afflicted, which is what the NPCs are called during the mission, and a lot of them will actually talk about, like, their god, and if they've been forsaken, or they're here, why isn't he talking to them, and like all this stuff as you're like I was sneaking, so I'm like assassinating them, but I would actually stop and listen to them because I wanted to hear the story. I thought the story was actually really cool if you stopped to listen. That being said, there's a ton of filler here. Like, the quest is unnecessarily long. You could have really narrowed down the whole dungeon delve for this and did those little pieces in like slightly more spread out, or not, slightly more together, and it would have made the quest just way better. Because you would have got all that little interaction and dialogue if you choose to, and then you would have been like, maybe take out a couple guys that don't talk, then another piece of like, this is lore, another guy's lore, and then the boss, and you probably would have been a lot better off. But they did like lore, nothing, just groups of NPCs that don't matter, lore, NPCs, and then the boss. And I'm like, and it was such a good, like, if they did a little bit more with the story on this one, I would have probably put this in S tier. But because of the length of it and just the story just being kind of dragged in a way where I don't feel like it was up there, I'm going to put it in lower A. Next we have Sanguine's quest, which was, this is like one of my favorite quests. It's very unique for this game because a lot of the quests are go get me an item, take out a bunch of people. And this one was like, you just go to a bar, you meet some guy, and then you guys party, and then you wake up and you don't know what you did, and it's just fun. It's just a fun quest, and there's different ways you can go fight things to get through it, or you can use your speech to get through it. It's very unique and interesting, just in the way it can play and just the way you go about it. That being said, I'm gonna put it in S tier. I'd like to hear what you guys think about that quest, because I think this is one of my favorite quests. When I replayed it, it was so much fun. I was like, oh my god, I laughed a little bit actually. Very enjoyable. Anyways, next we're going to talk Sheogorath, This is the Wabbajack. I'm also going to put this in S tier, but I think this is lower than the Sanguine Rose in Sanguine's quest in general, because it was different and unique in the... it was really good for Shia Gorath. Like, it really beats down the madness and everything. But I think the humor of the Sanguine Rose really made my enjoyment of that quest more, whereas this is kind of humorous, but not, I would say, not as humorous as that one. And last but not least, we're going to talk Vermina's quest. Vermina. This is the sleeping, or the waking nightmare. I thought I was going to say sleeping nightmare, but it's the waking nightmare. You get the Skull of Corruption. I think this is probably this is either a C tier or a B tier. I'm going to put this in upper C. You do get, like, options here. You can get the staff or you can get a follower. If you're going for the achievement, though, you're going to probably want the staff. Yeah, that being said, the quest itself was interesting, but not unique enough in a way where I was engaged like I was with some of the other quests. I'm trying to think if I want to argue for lower B tier or somewhere in the middle. The issue is I feel like the Ebony Mail I put too high. I really feel like the Boethiah's quest, now that I'm looking at it, was really good in the beginning and just not really that great at the end, and I kind of feel the same thing about this one. I actually think Hircine's quest is above the Ebony Mail quest for fun. Anyways, I'm going to leave my list there. We're not going to do the Skeleton Key. It's pretty much part of the whole quest for the Thieves Guild. So, anyways, I would love to hear what you guys think about the Daedric quest. I just finished replaying them. Super fun game. If you guys have never played Skyrim, I highly recommend that you guys get either the special edition or the anniversary. I heard there's some bugs with the anniversary. I've been playing the special edition, and I feel no need to upgrade. There's more than enough content. And I hope you guys tell me what you think of each of the quests in the comments down below. I will like and comment, so please leave what you guys think about the quest, because I kind of want your favorite quest and why. Because I would like to hear what a lot of other people have to say about this and have a little bit of a combo in the in the comments down below. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and have a great day. Later, guys.